Fight of the night was Rose and Jessica. Performance of the night goes to Davey Grant and Yuri. They all won $50,000, so congratulations to them. John Morgan.
Main event, obviously Masvidal was going up against a lot tonight. What do you think overall the way the fight played out?
Yeah, played out the way that I thought it might. I thought that if George didn't catch him with something, that's the way the fight would go. And his takedown defense was unbelievable. He would get taken down and get back up against Usman. It's tough to do. He did it for 5 rounds and, did what he could do. Usman's a beast, man. Guy's a beast.
I saw you talking with George in the cage afterwards. Obviously we knew the result before it was read. You were talking. What was the conversation?
He was saying, I'll be back. Want another shot.
What do you think? Obviously you wouldn't go right back to that, of course, Gilbert Burns. But when a guy steps in on 6 days' notice, flies halfway around the world, do you feel like maybe, hey, a win or two we could talk about?
Well, that was the fight we were working on. That's the fight he was training for. There was a 2-week gap there where he wasn't the fight. But I heard he was bringing in high-level wrestlers to train with and everything else, and I think you saw that tonight. And as far as his shape, if he wasn't in shape, he wouldn't be able to stop those takedowns. Going into 3rd, 4th, 5th round, he stopped a lot of them, and he got back up when he was down. So, he fought a good fight.
Co-main event, obviously a very, very close fight there as well. Were you scoring that one along, and did you have Volkanovski winning? Did you have Holloway? What'd you think?
Listen, man, you can't leave it. You can't leave it to these guys. We got some bad judging. And I don't know. Has Max been in here yet? I'm sure he's devastated, and yeah.
So normally when a guy is 2-0 against a champ, we don't get to see a third fight. But seeing as how you maybe think it went the other way, do you think?
I don't know. Did anybody in here score for Volkanovski? Anybody have Volkanovski? Nobody in the media. So, I don't know. We'll have to figure it out.
In the last title fight, I would ask about, of course, the new champion with Peter Yan. What did you think about his performance? Obviously, he seems like a very exciting guy.
Thought he looked good. I thought Aldo looked great. For people that were criticizing him, saying he doesn't deserve another title shot, horrible stoppage by the referee. Should have been stopped way sooner. Looks like we got to tighten up our refs and judges here on Fight Island.
You said Aldo, I thought, looked really good. I thought he looked
great.
Kind of the old Jose Aldo. What do you think he should do at this point, though? Do you still feel comfortable with him at 35? He's had some setbacks, but he looked good.
Just fought the best guy, the guy who's lined up for the next title shot, and he looked damn good doing it. He can do whatever he wants.
Just 2 more for me real quick. Paige Van Zandt, she made it clear she wants to test free agency after this. She lost this evening. Amanda Hebus obviously looks like an up-and-coming talent, but is Paige somebody you'd be interested in talking to? She made it clear she wants to test the market. Would you like to have her back?
Yeah, I think that I like Paige. It's like Blades. When I talk, when Blades fought last year, when you talk all that stuff, I'm not being paid enough, and fighting inconsistently. One time in the last year, injuries, and then got smoked in the first round of the fight. She should definitely test free agency.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
The last thing, we got the first Fight Island show in the books. Obviously we've been seeing the operations all week, but just give us your thoughts. Now that you got one in the books, I'm sure you feel like you cleared a hurdle a little bit. What's
I always like to get the first one behind me, and we did, and I'm looking forward to Wednesday now, and and just knocking them down. We got it's been great. I don't know how you guys have felt here, but this is amazing. When you think about all the places that we could possibly go, and you think about the United, possibly go if everything was normal, but everything's not normal. So if you think of the places that we could go, there isn't much going on, and the way the service here, and from the restaurants to the hotels to everything, you literally can't do it better than this. You can't be done better than this. The Apex is great. I spent $100 million on that building, and I love it, but Fight Island's tough to beat. You know what I mean?
Hey, Daniel.
Yeah.
What do you do with Jorge now, right? Obviously, he got a bump in pay for this fight, so you can't just put him against lower ranked guys. You're going to want to put him in bigger fights. So what do you do with him going forward?
What do you do with who?
Masvidal.
Masvidal? I don't know. I don't know what Masvidal wants to do. He said, I'll be back. You know, we're talking in the octagon, so I don't know what he wants to do. Give him some time, see what he wants to do next.
But if he got the pay rise that he wanted, right, you're going to have to put him against bigger name guys like Nate.
You guys don't know anything about what happened with the deal, so it's all good.
Today you announced UFC 4. You have Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua in the game. How does that happen?
Yeah, because we wanted them. We wanted them, and you know, we thought they'd be fun to have in the game as extra characters. I mean, every year we've done, you know, different things, from Bruce Lee to, you know, now these guys, and yeah, it's awesome. I'm glad they agreed and wanted to be a part of it, and it's going to be a fun game.
Is there a sense of irony that it took the UFC to make a Fury-Joshua fight?
That's funny. Yeah.
Peter Yan, he had a great win tonight. Is Aljamain Sterling the next contender for him?
Who's that?
Yan, Aljamain Sterling, is he the next contender?
I don't know. I'm thinking about Wednesday.
Yeah. Fair enough. Thanks, David.
Hey, Dana. Just over here.
Yeah.
First of all, congratulations on the event. I think it went really well.
Thank you.
So UFC 251 was originally supposed to be in Australia this year, and obviously the pandemic happened. But considering your success here and your ability to sort of be able to put on events in face of the pandemic, do you think there's still a chance that the UFC could be coming back to Australia or New Zealand this year? And what are your plans on that front?
I do. I've been hearing things, and you would probably know better than me, but I'm hearing that in New Zealand they're doing things with fans, so it's possible.
And just on that, do you think that there's enough talent down there to put on a show just with Australian and New Zealand talent?
Yeah, I do.
Great, thanks.
Thanks.
Dana, congratulations on a successful evening. Right
Thank
here.
you. Hey.
Tonight was the first night we experimented a little bit with some live spectators. Just wanted to get your thoughts on that. And Lawrence Epstein, COO, yesterday talked about this would be the place in this bubble to experiment with live spectators. Want to get your thoughts on that and maybe potentially growing that as these events?
Well, this is a different scenario. All the spectators are tested. I mean, we really didn't have spectators tonight. I mean, you don't. I mean, there's 2 points. First of all, anybody that's in the safety zone here has been tested umpteen times, right? And 2.4 million people that live here have been tested. So it's not really spectators.
Curious to get your thoughts on Magic Marlon Moraes. He was initially scheduled to fight Petr Yan. Obviously, the pandemic happened. Where does he fit in this bantamweight equation?
He fits. Obviously, he's the number one guy. So, yeah, we'll get all that figured out when we get home.
Dana, so we all know that Davison got tested positive, and he's taking another test. But as far as we know, maybe Pantoja can sub for him if things go wrong. How do you see that play out?
Yeah, we specifically had him on the card just in case anything happened. We were more concerned with weight cut. But yeah, that's how I see that playing out.
And do you think that this is a fight that's worth title shot?
That deserves a title shot?
Pantoja versus Benavidez.
Yeah, if one guy can't do it, the other guy gets it. Thank you.
Yeah. Davison Figueiredo said that he tested positive for COVID 2 months ago, so he doesn't understand how he tested positive now. Did Davison Figueiredo or his team inform the UFC 2 months ago that he tested positive?
I don't know. I don't know how that whole thing. I doubt it, or we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. You know, as we continue in this thing, we're going to have all kinds of weird stuff happen that hasn't happened before. And, you know, this one's popping up now, and did he have it? And does he have the antibody? And I don't know. I let smarter people than me figure that stupid shit out. I'm not trying to be a COVID-19 expert, but you know, we got Doc D and a lot of other people working on that. We'll get it figured out.
Money was a big topic going into this main event tonight, and even Joe Rogan commented on this on his podcast recently that he doesn't think the pay structure show money and win money is fair for fighters. Is the UFC consider maybe moving away to a different pay structure in the future?
We've never talked about it, no.
What are your thoughts on this?
Huh?
What are your thoughts on this? Is that something you?
Why am I what?
What are your thoughts?
Your thoughts on this?
I'm against it? I haven't thought about it. So you just said it.
Next one for me, sorry. Leo Santos was here earlier and he asked us to ask you why doesn't he get booked more often in UFC? Leonardo Santos, he was here earlier.
Dos Santos, yeah?
Yeah, and we asked him why he doesn't fight more often in UFC, and he said it's a question for the UFC for Dana White, so I'm asking you.
He said ask us
Yeah,
why he doesn't fight more?
yeah.
He can fight as much as he wants to. I mean, if you see some of these, look at Gilbert Burns. You know what I mean? Gilbert Burns has been on a roll. I mean, there's a lot of kids that we've turned around quickly. O'Malley is going to turn around here quickly too. You can fight as many times as you want. I don't know why he said ask me. Unless there's some, I don't know, something going on with him and the matchmakers that I don't know about. But yeah, not that I'm aware of. Listen, per these guys' contracts, we owe them 3 fights a year per their contract. So they have to fight at a minimum of 3 times a year. If they don't, then I have to pay them. So, I don't know.
Then, yeah. You said yesterday that Gilbert Burns is the #1 on the division. Is he next for Kamaru?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that Gilbert Burns and Kamaru Usman is going to be a really, really good fight. Really good fight.
And can you talk a little bit about Amanda Rivas? She seems to be the whole package.
Yeah, I mean, she's awesome. I mean, look at how good she looked tonight. And after she did her interview, everybody was blowing me up, saying how awesome she is and what an incredible personality she has. And yeah, she really shined tonight. She looked really good, and people love her.
Dana, hi in the back. Last year, obviously, when the event came here, there was some criticism about the temperature ringside. What was it like in there? I personally wasn't there, so keen to kind of get your thoughts.
Yeah, no, it was hot as hell last time we were here. And today, you know, if you tell these guys this was wrong or that was wrong, man, they fixed it. It was really nice in there today. I don't know how you guys felt. I got a suit on. I was felt great. You put a jacket on them, there you go. Tell them it's too hot, they're going to freeze you out of the place. There you go. They don't play around out here. It was great. Everything's been great. I mean, if I had to criticize anything that's happened this week so far, I can't. There's not one thing I could point to that hasn't been great and over the top, and, you know, especially considering the circumstances and the amount of time that we had to pull this off. It's unbelievable. Nobody else is doing it. Nobody else has done it. I knew this was the place to do it. These guys, I've been in business with these guys for over a decade, and they're very good. They're very, very good at what they do. You guys good? All right, see you Wednesday.
Opção direito. Não dá para você trabalhar. You don't know.
Pete, obviously, congratulations on a big victory and being champion now as well. Just give us your initial thoughts on winning the UFC title.
Поделись мыслями о том, что ты выиграл пояс.
Я безумно счастлив в такое время завоевать этот пояс, это долгожданная цель.
I'm insanely happy to win this belt in such difficult times, and it was my long-term goal.
Overall, a very exciting fight, the way we thought it was going to be. How did you feel how the fight played out versus your expectations?
По сравнению с твоими ожиданиями, как бой прошел?
Все прошло отлично. Мы знали, что это будет нелегкий бой, но я провел его великолепно.
Everything went excellent. We knew it's going to be a tough fight, but I had everything perfect.
It looked like you had him really hurt at the end of the first round. Could you see exactly what happened and what hurt him? And did you think you were going to end it there in the first round?
В первом раунде ты нанес ему урон. Увидел ли это и считал ли ты, что мог завершить этот бой в первом раунде?
Да, я увидел, что я его потряс, но я понимал, что ни в коем случае нельзя торопиться. Это 5-раундовый бой и нужно все сделать правильно.
Yeah, I saw that I hurt him in the first round, but I knew because it's 5th round, I cannot rush, I cannot make mistakes.
And then the second round was the only round that he won. I'm curious, what happened there? Did you decide to sit back a little bit on that one, or did he make adjustments? What happened in the second round?
И второй раунд, это единственный раунд, который Алдо выиграл. Какое у тебя были, какие мысли, какое решение? Ты решил немного сделать паузу, или какие у тебя мысли были вообще?
Да, во втором раунде он начал наступать. Я подумал, что да, хорошо, пусть он помашет. Он пробил мне пару хороших лоу-киков. Вот. Но я понимал, что он вымахивается, я провоцирую его. Поэтому все было по плану.
Yeah, in the second round he started to pressure me, so I decided to let him work, to make him miss a few times, and just provoke him more to make him, tired.
And then the finish, I've seen some people say, hey, maybe it could have been stopped a little bit earlier. What did you think about the end of the fight? Should it maybe have been stopped earlier?
Должны ли бой остановить раньше?
Я думаю, что все было правильно. Это чемпионский поединок, где дерутся два воина, чтобы не было после никаких разговоров, преждевременная остановка, не преждевременная. Я думаю, что нужно биться до конца, пока уже рефери на 100% не будет уверен.
I think everything was right. It's a championship fight between two warriors, so just not to leave any questions behind, the referee made this choice.
Perhaps not surprisingly, Henry Cejudo took to Twitter right away and said that, he would handle you easily. What do you think when you hear Henry Cejudo chiming in on social media?
Cejudo в Твиттере написал, что очень легко бы с тобой разобрался. Что ты об этом думаешь?
Ну, это очередное, как, не знаю, назвать его как проститутка, что ли, или как вот это он выскочит опять сейчас. То убежал он, то опять сейчас выскочил. Пусть говорят, что хотят. Сегодня мое время, мой день, я не обращаю на них никакого внимания. И когда придет время, я никогда никому не говорил нет, я подерусь с любым, кого мне дадут.
They can say whatever they want now. It's my time. I will fight anyone and I'll beat anyone.
Last thing for me, I know you want to enjoy this a little bit and celebrate, but what's the plan? Do you want to fight again soon? Do you have a name that you think should challenge you first? What's the plan?
Какой у тебя план? Хочешь ли ты вернуться поскорее? Есть ли какое-то имя, которое против кого хотел бы ты выступить, защитить?
Мой план сейчас отдыхать, восстанавливаться. Я хочу увидеться с семьей, хочу вернуться на родину. И дальше будут новости. Это работа уже менеджеров, работа UFC. Я вам говорю, я за 1,5 года провел 6 поединков и никогда не говорил нет. Поэтому как только будет бой, дата, вы услышите мой ответ.
I want to take rest now, recover, go back to my homeland, see my family, and then it's a work of my management team. In my first 18 months, I had 6 fights. I never said no to the offer, so I probably will find out soon.
How did you rate Jose Aldo's performance? Did you think he was perhaps past his prime, or did he surprise you with how effective he was in there, especially early on.
Как бы ты оценил выступление Жозе Алдо? Считаешь ли ты, что он уже на своем пике или уже прошел свой пик? Удивил ли он тебя в этом бою, насколько он был эффективен?
Посмотрите крайний поединок Алдо, он побил первого номера рейтинга Марлона Мораеса в 3 раундах. Представьте, что бы он сделал с Мораесом в 5 раундах. Я думаю, что Алдо очень достойный соперник, очень в хорошей форме. Я думаю, что он еще подерется.
In his last fight, Aldo beat #1 contender Marlon Moraes in 3 rounds. Imagine what he could have done with Moraes in 5 rounds. I think Aldo was in great shape. He's still on top of his form, and I think we can see a lot of him from him in the future.
It looked like he was sort of wilting towards the end of round 4. Did you go into round 5 knowing a finish was there for you?
В 4-м раунде ты его очень сильно потряс, и когда ты выходил на 5-й раунд, были ли у тебя мысли, что ты завершишь этот бой досрочно?
Да, конечно, у меня был план команды, команда мне говорила, не спеши, дергай, разбивай, он сейчас будет рисковать, ему больше ничего не остается делать, только рисковать. Вот. Мы сделали свое дело.
Yes, of course, it was my game plan, to finish him in the later rounds. My team told me to be patient, just feint more, make him miss, he will go for broke in the later rounds, and after that you're going to finish him.
Last one from me. Obviously, with the coronavirus being what it is, it's likely you'll be fighting in Abu Dhabi again next time out. There's speculation that UFC could be coming back here in September or October. Could you be ready to fight again by then?
Учитывая ситуацию с коронавирусом, скорее всего, ты будешь защищать свой титул в Абу-Даби. И говорят, что следующий карт будет в сентябре или в октябре номерной. Хотел бы ли ты выступить на этом турнире?
Я думаю, что октябрь было бы отличное время.
I think October will be a perfect time.
Peter, how found success in the second round using leg kicks, kicks to the body and the head. Were you surprised that he stopped using that after the second round?
Во втором раунде у Алдо хорошо получалось бить ногами, но был ли ты удивлен, что он перестал так делать после второго раунда?
Да, очень хорошо он бил, все знают, что Алдо очень жестко бьет, но после того он несколько раз промахнулся. И если вы не заметили, то я весь бой провел в левосторонней стойке, не в своей стойке, поэтому это, наверное, и повлияло, что ему было неудобно бить уже по моей дальней ноге.
Yeah, kicks were very effective, but I make him miss a few times too. And if you notice, I had to switch to the southpaw. It's not my natural stance, and I think it also played part, affected Aldo too.
Was that something you train, moving stances?
Тренируешься ли ты в обоих стойках?
Ну, это осталось у меня еще с бокса, я занимался боксом, и я думаю, что после таких ударов, которые попадал мне Алдо, я не вижу в нашем дивизионе, кто есть, кто бьет сильнее Алдо, поэтому я буду в следующий раз готов по-любому лучше к этим моментам.
Yeah, it's coming from my boxing background. I can work in both stances. I think no one kicks harder than Aldo in our division, and I will adjust in the future too, so no one can affect me in my fights in the future.
How different was Jose Aldo from the Jose Aldo you trained together 4 years ago?
Насколько отличался Жозе Алдо от того Алдо, с которым ты тренировался 4 года назад?
Ну, тренировки это тренировки, вы знаете, все друг друга берегут, аккуратно работают. А бой был жесткий, он показал себя во всей красе, поэтому я его только уважаю, больше ничего не могу о нем сказать.
Training is training. We're not trying to hurt each other in the practice, but fight was very tough and nothing but respect for the Aldo. He did great.
Final one for me. Do you think the referee should have stopped the fight earlier?
I think he answered.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Peter, congratulations on the victory. The two guys at the top of your division are Aljamain Sterling and Marlon Moraes. In your opinion, I know you're not picking here, but who is more deserving of the title shot with you next?
Два топа твоего дивизиона — это Стерлинг и Мораес. Он знает, что ты не выбираешь соперника, но как ты считаешь, кто больше всего заслуживает?
Я думаю, что Aljamain Sterling, этот парень побил многих ребят, находится в хороших рейтинговых позициях. Я думаю, он достоин драться за пояс.
I think Aljamain Sterling deserves to fight for the title. He's on a good streak. He beat a lot of good guys.
How did you adjust to the time change this week for your fight preparation, if any at all?
Как ты приспособился к смене временного пояса и к тому, что турнир проходил именно ночью.
Да, мы все эти моменты старались предусмотреть. Пораньше ложились, раньше просыпались, и это все пошло на пользу.
Yeah, we try to go to bed early and wake up early, and I think it's worked out for me.
What's next here in Abu Dhabi? Go-karts, golf, or are you just going back home to rest?
Чем займешься дальше в Абу-Даби? Гольф, будешь кататься на машинах или...
Everything.
Правильно, правильно.
Да.
Congratulations.
Федор, здесь вопрос по-английски задам. 7 fights in the UFC. Was it the hardest fight of them tonight? For 7?
Был ли это тяжелый бой из 7 проведенных в UFC?
Это был очень ответственный бой, это был бой за пояс, это был бой с мощным соперником. Для меня, наверное, это будет знаменательный поединок, потому что рядом со мной пояс теперь.
It was a big responsibility for me to fight for the belt, and it was a very important fight for me, and it means a lot for me to have this belt now.
Before getting his belt, Khabib said, I'm afraid that the belt is going to change me as a person. Are you afraid that the belt is going to change you as a person?
Хабиб говорил, что он боится, что пояс изменит его как человека. Боишься ли ты этого тоже?
Я не боюсь этого. Я в жизни сталкивался со многим. Я думаю, что этот пояс просто сделает меня еще сильнее.
I'm not afraid of this. I've been through a lot in my life, so I think this belt just gonna make me a stronger person.
Thank you. Спасибо.
Question at the back over here. So, hello, Peter. Just overall, what are your impressions of Abu Dhabi so far? Obviously, quite a different place to where you're usually used to fighting. Have you enjoyed it? How has the hospitality been? Would you be keen to come back here on holiday with your family one day?
Какие впечатления у тебя от Абу-Даби? Как тебе вообще гостеприимство местное? И хотел ли ты в будущем со своей семьей сюда вернуться, может быть, отдохнуть?
Я здесь первый раз, в принципе, все на высшем уровне, все очень профессионально для спортсменов сделано было именно. Конечно же, в плане отдыха, по-любому я сюда приеду с семьей.
I'm here for the first time. Everything was top class and professional, and of course, I want to come back here with my family for the holidays.
Thank you.
tough one.
See me after this? Still see me? Oh.
Joe, certainly didn't come easy for you tonight. Another tough fight, but you did get the victory. What's the feelings like for you right now?
Yeah, you know, it was a tough one. You know, we expected him to make adjustments. He made good adjustments in the first 2 rounds. We started off that first round, we're like, oh yeah, we're doing good. Then obviously he actually did what we actually expected him to, even with some of his attacks. But again, yeah, his first 2 rounds were strong, and then we knew we had to pick it up. So from the third round, onwards, we picked it up. So you know that 3rd round was close, but we were confident we got that 3rd round, and then obviously we took the 4th and 5th. So yeah, tight fight, but you know when you know the judges were, the scorecards was getting announced, we were pretty sure we got the last 3. So happy with the win. You know, to beat Max back to back like that, that's saying something. I'm you know happy to finish the chapter. You know, on to the next.
You said those 2 opening rounds, man, he looked maybe as good as he ever has.
Mm-hmm.
What's going through your head at that point? Because, I mean, he was having a lot of success, looked incredibly relaxed, and it looked like it might be a long night.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, even for me, I was just way too relaxed, to be quite honest. And he was making good adjustments, and it was hard for me to pull the trigger and things like that. But I mean, yeah, there was things that we had to work on, and then luckily my corner were talking to me, and you know, he did things that we sort of expected him to do it, but it just took me a while until the 3rd round to actually start getting things moving. So I don't know what that was, you know, whether it was no crowd or whatever it was. It's like, wake up, you know, get punched in the face so you can wake up a little bit. But again, you know, the first 2 rounds were tight, but again, I showed what champions are made of, you know what I mean, to dig deep and show you that I've got so many tools, you know, make adjustments mid-fight like that. He made good adjustments in between the 2 fights, and I made adjustments in between the fights. That just shows you my fight IQ. It shows you the type of fighter I am, and it shows you, you know, a great heart and what champions are made of.
Obviously, he's a popular figure, so there's a lot of people going, oh, he didn't win 3, 4, 5, but you guys said you were confident. So what would you point to in 3, 4, 5 to tell people this is why we make those rounds?
Yeah, well, obviously 4th and 5th, I'm pretty confident. Most people would know I clearly won that. That 3rd round was probably a little bit closer out of the 3 last ones. But you know, obviously the takedowns and you know, a lot of my shots I feel like were better shots anyway, to be quite honest. But then first 2 rounds again, I'm a realist. I'll tell you, I believe that you know, he started off well, but I come back from the 3rd onwards. Again, I showed what champions are made of. This sport isn't easy, and sometimes you're going to be put in these positions, and only certain champions can dig deep like I did. And you know, again, I'm proud that I dug deep and got the job done and bring this back home to Australia and to my family.
You said closing the chapter. I mean, certainly there would be no need to do a 3rd fight right now. But do you feel like you're done with him forever? Or do you feel like maybe at some point down the line, because the fights were so close both times, that a 3rd fight might be interesting?
Oh, mate, look, you never know. Again, I'm not going to... Obviously, he's got to go through the ranking system again now. And, you know, I don't think the first fight was close. This was probably closer than the first fight, but, again, I got the job done. You know what I mean? You know, it doesn't matter... You know, again, I feel like I could have done a lot better, but I'm still showed that I'm the best fighter in the world, you know, even today. So, I believe I finished that chapter. I don't know where he goes from here, whether he wants to move up, I don't know. But again, I've done what I had to do, and you know, I'm proud of that. And again, I bring this back home, so I get to bring that back to my family, and I've got my eye on these contenders, whoever it is, whoever's next.
I'd be so angry to be back to sleep.
Especially if you've already called us like room service did that to me.
Yeah, room service only got a right hook, but she came. Off this as soon as you can, so I can use it for warning. No, it's just... No, I can give it. Okay.
What's up, everybody?
Well, Jorge, you rolled the dice a little bit, stepped in on short notice, flew around the world. It was a big opportunity. Didn't quite go your way. What's the feeling like right now?
I hate coming up short. I'm not gonna make no excuses. He was a better man tonight. There were some areas where I didn't give him enough credit, and there were some areas where I felt with a better training camp, I could definitely surpass him. And I think I showed a lot of my wrestling on 6-8 notice that I'm not too easy to take down or to hold down on the ground. I made a lot of mistakes. I tried to fight in spots since I didn't feel my gas tank was at the greatest, and he fought in better spots, right?
Coach's corner there?
Yeah, he was FaceTiming with my manager, Abraham Cower, giving us some inside details and stuff, and saying things that my manager was relating to me. It's just my body wasn't reacting after like the second round. I just didn't have that pop to give Mike what he wanted, but he was giving great advice.
You knew that Kamaru was going to wrestle with you. Did it live up to expectations? Was it more difficult? Was it easier? Obviously, you didn't get the training camp, 6 days notice, 20 pounds later. How did it vary?
In some spots, I felt he was better than I expected, and in other spots, I overestimated him. He got into my legs a couple times, and I was able to scramble real well. He got some takedowns. I was able to stand up without using too much energy. But just him pressing me up against the cage was very nice how he did that. He was able to keep me there, and when I started to move, I feel that he'd change off to other things. So I definitely got to work on that. I got a good formula in my head, though, on how to beat him the next time. I thought I had the formula. Now I know the formula. It takes a lot of gas tank, a lot of conditioning, a lot of more wrestling rounds with high-level guys. So I definitely got a square root on how to beat this guy.
I know we're not talking about the next opponent. You just addressed that, but Colby Covington, that MAGA hat and everything, we're talking about money. We're talking about the bad blood. You both just came off Usman. Don't you think that'd be the most lucrative fight potentially for you? And with the rankings, it would make sense too?
Besides you and a couple of reporters in here, nobody knows that guy. And he just got finished by the guy that I fought in 6-8 notice. He got his jaw broken, had to run out of there. So I don't think he's at this level. But I don't know who's going to be, man. Whoever makes the most sense for us.
Approaching 17 years in this game, you finally got that title shot. Did it live up to your expectation? Obviously not the result, but the nerves, the feels.
In a way, yeah. I just going into the third round, I was fatiguing, and I was like, nah, man, nobody's gonna stop me in this UFC. Not nobody, not King Kong, not Godzilla. And I proved it to myself, tired or not, hurting or not, I could keep pushing. My cardio was fading a little bit, and I wasn't willing to give in to nobody's will.
Lastly, what was the last words The Rock spoke to you, your buddy The Rock, for all the casuals watching? What did he say to you last?
Keep your spirit up or something like that. I can't even remember right now, man. I'm still caught up in the fighting shit, man. I still just, I want to run sprints right now until I throw up is what I want to do, man. I'm very upset.
Hi. A couple days ago, Ben Askren said that he made you famous. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, we made each other famous.
Thank you.
See? Thank you, everybody, man. Have a good day. God bless.
Jab, I'm sure you would have liked to get a finish in there. Obviously, everybody does, but a title defense is a title defense. So, give us the feel after 5 rounds. How did you feel about your performance tonight?
Felt good. Just kind of dealing with all the circumstances that I had to deal with this whole week. I think in the last 3 days, I slept maybe 10 hours, if that. And then, of course, dealing with the heat. And then, of course, having the weight cut and things like that. It was a very, very challenging week for me mentally. Like, I can't even tell you guys what the last 24 hours was like mentally. And then, of course, with a guy, with the dog like George Masvidal, it was very challenging. But, you know, these are what champions are made of. You have to rise to the occasion and take care of business, and that's what I did tonight.
Were there moments, you know, before the fight was made or as it was being made that you thought, this isn't worth it? You know, like, I'm a totally different guy. I mean, did you ever think, let's just not fight this weekend?
No, because this is the first time I spent 2 months away from my daughter, and that's tough for me because I love my daughter. That's pretty much one of the only things that I do when I'm back home in Florida is I'm in my house, play with my daughter, watch her gymnastics, watch her jiu-jitsu, and go to train. And being away for 2 months, and it messed with me mentally. And then of course you have to deal with the new system, you know, with the new coach, just kind of getting used to that new place and new atmosphere. It was tough, but you know, I dealt with it. I went through it. So then last minute they're saying, oh, well, you don't have a fight. And then this possibility popped back in. I'm like, no, I'm going to fight. It's going to be tough making a mental switch and a strategic switch for a guy like him. But, you know, we had to make it on the fly, and we did.
As you said, he's a dangerous guy at all times. I mean, I think it was clear that he was starting to tire a little bit. But was there a moment where you thought, oh, I'm in control of this fight, I've got this, or were you always a little concerned that I got to be careful I don't get caught?
You always have to be a little concerned, especially with a guy like him. Like he's a real dog. You know, all props to him, much respect. A lot of people were thinking that he would be out of shape for this fight. He wasn't. I mean, he's been training, and he came in prepared. He came in ready. Of course, I would like a lot more time to really strategically prepare for a guy like him, to really pick him apart better than I did tonight. But I had to do what I do best, and that's dominate a guy from start to finish.
You guys spoke a little bit afterwards. I know there was some bad blood leading in, but can you share what was shared between the two?
I think it's just, you know, just mutual respect. It's hard not to respect a man when you share 25 minutes with them in that octagon, punching each other in the face. And so, yeah, just mutual respect, and you know, we both feel that we'll do it again. And absolutely, I would like a lot more time to prepare for a guy like that, and really be able to dominate in the way that I want to, just picking my spots and try to get that finish standing.
It's funny because he said he wanted to make it clear, no excuses, but he said he wants to work his way back to you. But you're saying you want to do it too. Like, that wasn't good enough for you. You want to fight him again at some point?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's a veteran. He's a crafty veteran. You know, he's got tricks that a lot to the untrained eye people don't see. He's got a lot of tricks there, but you know, I would love to do that fight again. Especially you see my last couple fights. You know, I like to pick my spots. I like to really pick a guy apart, and I've evolved so much, you know, but I still got, you know, tools in the tool shed. So if I need to wrestle, goddamn motherfucker, I'm gonna wrestle, you know. But I need to showcase a lot more of what I have in the toolbox, and you know, I would love to do that with a lot more time.
Last thing for me, it looks like Gilbert Burns is next. You know, Dana says he's the #1 contender. Do you feel that way, first of all? Then secondly, what do you do now? Do you go back to Sanford MMA and train for a little while? Do you you guys wait to see what happens? I mean, how do you handle that?
Well, you gotta wait to see what happens. We all know what happens in the UFC. Nothing is for sure unless you're stepping inside that cage. That's when something is for sure. We learned that 6 days ago, and so you know, it doesn't really matter. First and foremost, I need to get home to my daughter. That's what's important. I need to sit on my couch, eat some Thai food, and watch some Netflix with her, and then watch a couple of gymnastics training and a couple of jiu-jitsu practices, and then we'll start thinking about fighting somebody again. I mean, that's the one thing in this division. There's no shortage of contenders. Leon Edwards is there. I mean, the guy's been tearing it up. Gilbert had an amazing year. He's there. Kobe thinks he's there. So, there's no shortage of challengers. There's always going to be a challenger, and they're always going to throw somebody in there with me. And whatever the company feels like they want to throw in there, that's my job as a champion, is go out there and dominate them like I just did.
Jorge says he felt that even on the short notice, he was able to show that his wrestling is underrated in the game. Did you feel that he had better wrestling than you anticipated?
No, it's not that I anticipated. I know his wrestling's good. Like, people were not giving him credit for that. I know his wrestling's good. He's one of the best at his takedown defense is very, very good. And you can see it in his style. When you watch a fighter, when they're afraid of someone's wrestling, afraid of being taken down, they're crouched over in the stands, they're very low, and they're afraid to throw kicks and things of that nature. Masvidal's not. He's standing straight up, bouncing up and down. He's firing off those kicks at will. And I knew he was going to be a tough guy. His wrestling's always been good, but, my wrestling's just a little bit better. My wrestling is just a little bit better than everybody. Just tactically, how to put a whole fight together. I'm just a little bit better than everybody in this division. That's why I'm the champion.
Online, there has been some negativity towards the fight, saying, it's a bit boring and stuff like that. But at the same time, you still...
Oh, who said that?
Just like a multitude of fans and fighters have said that.
Yeah, well, maybe they need to get in there and fight George Masvidal for 25 minutes and then say something.
I was going to say, because at the end of the day, you still had a dominant performance. You got 50-45 on 2 of the scorecards. So do you think that people need to start appreciating that domination? Okay, so you're not knocking him out, but it should still be respected.
Well, that's the thing is, there was a time where people started hating Floyd Mayweather because he was so dominant. And Floyd, his defense was so good, and he was just so good at what he did. We could agree on that. He was so good at what he did to where everyone's like, no, that's boring. He's not just fighting because people want to see a bar fight. We're risking our lives in there. And we've trained. What was the point of training each and every day and then going there and just slugging around, taking punches? You train to be able to make someone miss, to be able to control them in a certain way. That's what training is for. So you're not in there just taking punishment at will. And I do that better than anybody. And so whoever is saying that, they can say whatever they want, but I went out there, I kept working. I worked for 25 minutes. Even when we were up against the cage standing, I worked for 25 minutes. I gave him opportunities where he could have got off the cage. But, he was there, he was content staying there, and I kept working. And so whoever's saying that, they can say whatever they want, but come share the octagon with Jordan Masvidal for 25 minutes and let's see what you're going to say.
He said back here that when he was in the cage with you, he said, we don't need the bad blood to promote the next fight. We don't need to do that. We don't need to teach the younger fighters that that's what they have to do to get money and promote fights. Do you agree with him?
Absolutely, and that's what I was saying. Leading up, I talked a little bit about this. I felt that like he turned into. I think that was a statement I made, that he had turned into something that he never wanted to be. And what I meant by that is that the whole trash talk and all of this. Jordan Masvidal was, the reason he had my respect is because he's a martial artist, and that's the first thing you're taught in martial arts is respect. And that's all I want to do. I want to come in here and I want to compete. And I think he wants to do the same as well. So, it's a mutual respect thing there. When you share the octagon with someone for 25 minutes, it's hard not to have that mutual respect. And I think we're both martial artists and we both share that.
Last one from me. You want to fight him again. He wants to fight you again. You're the champion. If you could pick the next fight for Jorge Masvidal, who should he fight next to start getting back towards you?
He's a tough guy. I don't think he lost any fans tonight. I think it just showed that he's still a little bit behind in just what it takes as far as me to being able to dominate a fight. But he's still very, very dangerous. He can fight anybody. He can fight. Of course, I think a lot of people want to see him fight the guy that I fought last, Kobe. I think a lot of people would be interested in watching that match. I know I would, and so it doesn't matter. I sit at the top, and whoever they throw at me, I'll go out there and defend against. But he has options.
You fought both of them. Who wins that fight?
See that's a tricky thing. Styles make fights. They know each other. They train with one another. I'm interested to see that fight. Sharing the octagon with both men, I know they're both tough in different ways, and I think Masvidal has evolved a little bit. And that's one thing that I didn't think I gave him credit for, is how much he's evolved and how much he's changed. And I think that's an intriguing fight. Honestly, I can't pick a winner.
Congratulations on getting that shmoney, champ.
Thank you.
The other day you talked about getting that win today, as you predicted, you would tie GSP for that record. He's universally looked at as the greatest welterweight of all time to a lot of people. What's it going to take for you to be known as the greatest welterweight of all time?
I mean, just continue to do what I've been doing, and that's dominating opponents and winning, and that's how George got there. You know, if a lot of people, MMA fans, really look at what George did towards the latter part of his career, they looked a lot like that. You know, dominate a guy, take them down, just beat him up, and you know, utilize each and every aspect of the martial arts, mixed martial arts, and I think I'm on the same track. And so, yeah, we're both tied for most consecutive wins, and you know, that's a fight that I look at and I love, and I want a fight like that, to be able to train and showcase all my skills and have him showcase his skills. I think that's a crazy fight. It's a huge fight, and I think a lot of people will want to see it.
There was a lot of bad blood leading up to this with Jorge Masvidal. Beginning of the year, leading up to the Super Bowl, you guys had the incident and everything like that. Obviously, no bout agreements were signed, but in your heart, you always kind of knew that you were facing this guy. So how much training did you actually have preparing for him as your opponent before you knew it would be Gilbert Burns?
No more than about 2-3 weeks, in a row, because when originally they were talking about doing this fight, that was April. I'm like, okay, I'll step in. We'll take him on. And that was at the point where I said I would take the fight on, I think almost 2 weeks, maybe 10 days, 2 weeks notice. I said I would take the fight. And so I started training for that maybe about 7-8 days. And unfortunately, they couldn't come to terms on his side. And so that fight got scrammed. And then there was a possibility, there was some talks of maybe doing it in May. And so I got about 4 days of dieting and getting back, training for him mentally, and then unfortunately that fell apart again. And so I haven't really had extensive time to really train for him. But I would love to see how that works out. Give me 6 weeks to mentally hone in, study film, break him down, and just pick my spots and just use more tools.
You switched camps because you didn't want to fight your teammate, obviously so. Now, do you think after that fight, you would go between two different camps, or you'd have to make the decision and pick one?
Well, I mean, I had a great time working with Trevor. Trevor's an amazing coach, and of course, I still got my jiu-jitsu coach, George Santiago. You know, we did great work. We've always done great work, and we're going to continue to do great work.
Congrats, champ.
Thank you.
I'm not sure you know that someone placed 20,000 bets on Masvidal to win tonight. What would you say to the person that placed that bet on Masvidal to win tonight?
Whoops. Whoops. I mean, if you're gonna bet money like that, you probably don't need it. So, hope he doesn't miss it.
Would you advise this person to bet on you next time?
Well, I mean, he should have done a little bit of research and just kind of see my track record and see my score and see what I've done to each and every one of my opponents. So, fortunately, they didn't do their research. That's what you call gambling.
Last one for me. The UFC announced today, just hours before the fight, that Jorge Masvidal would be on the cover of the UFC 4 video game. Did that bother you, seeing him on this, or you kind of didn't understand the UFC?
No, it doesn't bother me at all. You know, George has done a great job in the last year. He had an amazing 2019. He did some good things, picked some good fights, and some great things happened in those fights, as we know. And so, you know, he earned it. Nothing against that. Everybody has their season. Everybody has their thing. When I continue to go out there and do my job, at some point they're gonna realize, like, man, you know, this guy's a real deal. There's no opponent you can throw in front of him that he can't get through. So, you know, it is what it is. I mean, I wasn't bothered by it at all. I think he did a great job, well deserved for him. And of course, Izzy was on there as well. You know.
Hi.
So Dana said that Burns should be the next one for you. I would like to know how do you see this match and how your guys' relationship stayed after he challenged you.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. If that's what the company's gonna make, that's what the company's gonna make. I was willing, I prepared for a fight like that. I was willing and ready. So it doesn't change anything. If that's the next fight, and once I get healed up and I'm able to get back in there, then I'll get back in there. But that's the one thing in this division. There's no shortage of contenders. There's dogs all sitting outside wanting what I have. So I have to just continue to train, get better, and go out there and take them all out one at a time.
Just a follow-up question. Do you see yourself training with Burns again?
Well, I mean, we'll see. Never say never. That's a motto that I live by. Never say never.
Thank you.
Kamara, just a few thoughts on your side, just about your time here in general. Abu Dhabi, the culture, hospitality, how have you enjoyed your time here so far?
Yes, I love Abu Dhabi. I love the UAE. You guys all know I'm an African boy, and I love it here. I wanted to fight this. I would have loved for this to be maybe in the winter, and so I could really actually enjoy, the whole facilities and the whole what's going on in this whole country, this whole region. And of course, this pandemic, it crushed a lot of different things. I mean, look at everyone. Look at the space between everyone in here. That kind of takes away from everything, and it took away from it tonight. I would like to come back. I've been here before, and I enjoyed it a little bit. I would love to come back. I was actually going to plan a vacation here until the pandemic hit. I would love to come back and really enjoy the whole UAE. That's it. Thank you, guys.
Looking at.